Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, you were talking about the debugger. Please tell.
Yeah, last evening I start work on the debugger, and I was so motivated, like I was so excited to build the debugger, but at the same time, like I was so tired. I had this fatigue,
Mhm.
and then I start. Okay, at least I know what to do. I want to do, but I don't know how to do.
Mhm.
And I use it a lot, like AI, just to write the code.
Oh yeah.
You know when you need to deal with the arrays, objects, and then you need to insert data in the specific position. This is
Oh,
a
slicing.
very
Oh my god.
yeah. This is horrible. This is so it's it's like it's so frustrating to work on arrays.
I gotta send you a link to a stream I did with John Marco, where we worked on the. Did I demo that to you? The Git UI thing where you could move like chunks between commits and stuff. Did I ever
You
demo that?
didn't, but I remember I have seen something
Yeah. Anyways, there
like
was a lot
this.
of slicing involved to make that happen. And we spent, I kid you not, 30 minutes on the stream trying to figure out just that thing. And it's horrible. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah, and at some point I found a solution. Okay, this is what I want to do, but it looked terrible. Like how how I can consider myself a senior engineer writing that code. But I was so lazy, like I was so tired. It was late at night, so I copy paste into the cloud AI. It's cloud, the name of
Oh, yeah,
this.
Claude. Yeah. Mhm.
It's amazing, and it was impressive. Okay, this is exactly what I wanted,
Mhm.
I started feeling very productive now using AI because I know what to do, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's so time consuming writing code,
Yeah.
especially especially when you don't have TypeScript or you don't know exactly the types of your your data,
Mhm.
and AI is much clever than us dealing with this such case.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I saw this message on X. I'm gonna say tweet. I always gonna say Twitter and tweet.
Yeah, me too.
But there was this. I don't know how real it is, but he built some a very impressive video editor only using AI, and it's like it takes a lot of like it's an adjustment to how you do things or how you do programming. But he really committed to like doing something he wasn't able to do on his own. Like he didn't know how to build it. So he was complete. If he were ever going to build it, he would need to use AI. So he was very committed to using it, and it was a very impressive tool. But yeah, it's
Is it a
uh,
cursor editor?
no, I don't think it wasn't like a specific editor he used. He just said he used AI, but he built a
Okay,
video editor. Um,
a
yeah, it
video
was kind of
editor. Okay,
crazy. By the way, hi Adam. Adam, it's funny, Danilo. Adam is like we've spent a lot of open source time together. He lives in Australia, um, and he's always like one of the first people to jump on whenever I start like brewing
nice,
on something new. And they're actually he has a colleague that's using Impact. Um,
nice,
yeah, we met up and we had a conversation because I made it. You remember, did a pivot with like we had these nested stores, and then I'm like, no, there everything should just be global, and then I changed the API and stuff, and I think his name is Shane, and I never got like direct feedback from Shane, but Adam had talked to him, and he was like, no, what is he doing? That's too funny.
yeah. I hope we can make the debugger very useful for them. Like
Yeah,
those, I'm very excited about debugger.
yeah.
This is
Should
the
I?
kind
Oh,
of a project that you keeps you excited, keep
yeah,
you working until late.
yeah, exactly. And it's by the way, I'm watching. It's the Airbnb CEO. It was a nice interview. Uh, anyways, yeah, I like the most fun I've had working with UI is like these kinds of developer tools, like debugging tools. There's something very fascinating about like it's not like the primitives, like the data you send into the debugger is very simple. Like in this case, it's like it's a store, it's a signal, it's some props, but um, it's like the complexity. Like that's why you build it. It's to manage the complexity. It's just when you have a lot of them, you need them to be organized and visual. And just seeing that, I remember like especially with like with the cerebral tool with the sequences and stuff and just seeing that running the first time it just boom 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 you just see everything coming together. It's really really
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, can I just open the thingy?
Yep, it should work.
Should I open it in a new? Is it like is it running the? Oh, look at
Yeah,
this.
look at the loading.
Oh.
So this is it. For now, I was able to mount the component tree, like
Mm-hmm.
which star is nested to another.
Yeah.
And the next challenge would be passing props and the current state.
Mm-hmm.
And I also very interesting to to understand if we can make this is state timeline, like
Yeah.
something like Redux. If you can go back and forth, or at least to see
Yeah.
the transition state. So yeah, this is the current state.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought maybe we could kind of go through what do we actually talking about like the data, like the chunks or pieces of data. Maybe we could run through what we need, and then I could create the hooks for you,
Hmm.
so that you kind of just get it, and then um, yeah, because how do you actually grab the this stuff now? Is it coming from React or did you grab it from Impact?
I introduced a new hook
Mm-hmm.
inside the React Impact React Store.
Mm-hmm.
And when the component did mount, I call this hook
Mm-hmm.
with the store name, the parent
Mm-hmm.
store name,
Yeah.
and at this point we have a lot of information like the props. But I can't how can I say this word? Serialize the props because
Yeah.
the props might be a function, and everything's start becoming complex,
Yeah.
and I don't know how to proceed.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but let's just go through it because that's exactly how I thought about implementing this as well. It's like you have component did mount that. That's when we know that we're actually using the store, and then as you say, we have a reference to the parent stores, so we can build up this nested structure. And then
Yeah.
where are we gonna? We need to make some notes.
I also needed to add like when the component will amount,
Yeah.
and then we can decide if you want to remove the store from the dev tool,
Hmm.
or if you want to mark it as stale.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to debug even when the store is no longer there,
Yeah.
but at least you need to mark this is a mounted store.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So um, Um, yeah, so we have the store. mount, store and mount,
Mhm.
mark as keep, but mark as and mount. Yeah, but I guess that's more up to the debugger to do that.
Yeah.
Like from the perspective of impact, it's just now we unmounted this reference, and then yeah, and then it's the props. So I'm just thinking about yeah, because it's kind of two parts to the props. One part of the props is you know what would maybe be simpler is like okay, there's two parts to the props. It's the props coming in from React, and then we convert them like into signals. So if React updates the value through like component updates, the signal also updates internally. So you can actually observe changes to the props in React inside the store.
Mhm.
And the question is, do we care about those changes, or should we just show the props as is? Like we can just grab the props and just update the props object every time React reconciles and show the latest props, or do we want the same thing as like, no, let's look at each prop and see the history of the signal, so you can see like uh,
Mhm.
the prop changing over time.
Well, maybe we could start. Maybe we could have initial props, like what is
Yeah,
the original props value,
yeah,
and later on, if we see the need to watch the changes,
yeah.
we can add it.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, like, especially in terms of signals, it's like here it says like state timeline, but I would imagine like for each signal, you would have a timeline. Like you can see the
Mhm.
history of a single signal, and if we have that abstraction in there, we could also have props, and we could show
Mhm.
the key, but then the value isn't the value of the prop; it's the signal, and then you just use the same whatever that UI looks like. Like you click the signal and you get like a history of all the changes of the signal.
I see.
Um, yeah, so that's also
Okay.
interesting. I remember working on that in the Cerebral debugger. Like you can have different views of time. So one thing is that each signal will have its own timeline in terms of its own changes, but you can also look at changes from the perspective of the store. So then you would have like a timeline where it points to, okay, now this signal changed to this, and then you have another signal change to this. So you kind of have merging the history of what happened in the store together. But you can still watch individual timelines for each signal. Like I'm not saying that we should necessarily need it, but it's
Mhm.
like technically possible to do it. Um, but okay,
Yeah, but it's good to know because right now it's just placeholders, and we are
yeah,
just talking about possibilities. And now yeah, it's good to know because then they can think more about how the UI should look like.
yeah, exactly. But I suggest we do like um, we just pass the props keys uh, with related signal, and then we'll need to figure out how to actually display those signals. Like they have a current value, but as we talked about now, they also have a historic set of values. But there's no like really no difference to a prop than a signal you define inside the store. Um, it's just that it's coming from the props. Um, and then what I thought about was, you know, the current React debug. Do I have it there? React. I don't know. Can we do we see it here? Um, do we have a better example? Oh my god, there's so much stuff in there. Yeah, I guess here. Like the hooks, they are just defined as, oh, groceries. Is this the, why is it called observer? Oh, is this the, oh, oh, so, hooks? Observer? Why is it shown like this? These are different. Is this because it's like why is it called observer?
No idea. And I can see that the component is an anonymous component.
Yeah, I wonder if it's is it because we're using the, oh, I think I know why. I think we're using the observer component. Um and that observer component has, it's using the use observer hook. So, but I don't understand why a hook, why does it say hooks and then it lists components? And then you have groceries here, which has a state, and it has its own hook. What does this mean? I thought hooks was just the hooks of this specific component. Maybe we should just find it. Where is it? Can I like go? How do I go to it? So this is observer. This is confusing. What are these things? App. Wait, is there a counter here somewhere? There's counter. App Store provide. Okay. What does it say? iframe? Does it have? I'm super confused.
I think when the debugger says uh, groceries, it removes the first word use. Can you see the effect?
Yeah.
Because it removed the use effect. So maybe what you are seeing there is indeed a hook. You know
But
what I mean?
where does the iframe come from? Where is it mounted?
Is inside page, I think, or counter. I think it's counter. Nope. So it's inside page.
Inside.
Debugger is slash page. Another page.
Huh? Another page?
Yes.
Oh, is it from the?
No, it's
Oh,
inside
sorry.
the
I'm in the
Next.js.
wrong. I'm in the wrong code.
Oh,
Oh my god. So here it is.
yeah, it is.
Exactly. Okay. So we're in the counter, and then anonymous would be was it App Store provider suspense? There's the iframe. I'm still confused though.
The frame, yeah, my frame is there.
Yeah, and then we go to app. And then we have the app store. It doesn't say anything about app. And then, okay, so this suspense, this is from inside. Okay, so you have app store provider. That's the component. And this is the context provider. These should be the same. Anyways, there is a suspense in there. And then it's, oh, okay. I think I know why. It's the anonymous. Oh, sorry. The anonymous is basically the it's nice to see this running. Suspense. Oh, sorry. We're in here now. It's I wonder if we should remove this in production, but doesn't matter. So you have the suspense and then it renders out the children. But why is it anonymous? I don't understand why it's anonymous. Because that is the thing with the... It's this one. Why is that shown as anonymous? That's weird. Anyways, that's not really our problem, I think. No, wait, sorry. Yeah, function, sorry, this one. This is shown as anonymous for some reason. Because that is the app.
Weird.
Yeah, I thought this was the way to name them. It's like you just create the function in there again. But maybe something happens. Maybe it's the observer component that's wrong. Maybe I forgot to add the display name. Oh, look at this. Of course. Yeah, I forgot to... Yeah, of course. This is a bug. This should have the display name of the component being passed in. So I made some adjustments to the code. I split it up into multiple files. So I'm not sure if we should really... Let's just do like a review here. And then what we need. But let's add it to the list. Where's that thingy? Didn't I make some notes? There we are. Observer use name from past component. Yeah, so then that should be app. But then the question is observer. It's almost like it... Yeah, I don't understand this. Why is there an app hook inside the app? Why does it say that? Is it use App Store?
Maybe. I believe the debugger removed the first word, use. Is there any use app? Use observer or something?
Oh, maybe it does. Oh, that's true. Yeah, so you have use observer. Yeah, use observer is the observing, and then... But I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just some crazy logic, like, because it does say use App Store, and use App Store uses a hook called use store, which uses a context.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, and they do some weird stuff, like breaking up the... Like, they have some convention on the naming. Anyway, the point is, this wasn't the point. Like, you're not supposed to use this to debug the stores, but I was just curious why they were shown like this. Because what I meant was that these hooks, they are just shown like the order they are used in the component. And I was thinking that we could do the same. So you would have, instead of hooks, you would have like signals, and then it would just boom, 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 list each signal. And then maybe not even call it signals, but because you can have derived, you can have like if we have these other primitives. Anyways, the point is that we have these primitives and it's possible to show them like the order they are created in the store. And that's something you'll also know. Like when the store is created, it's able to like pass the props with the accompanying signals. It can pass the list of signals created during store initialization. Um, so you kind of just get like information about, okay, I created this signal, I created this derived, I created this thingy here, and those will never change, right? Because they're created with the store and they'll live as long as the store lives. And then I guess we can do something similar, like being able to extract the name of them. I wonder how they do that here. I guess they do what we intended to do, like actually look at the source map of the code to extract the name of things. Maybe that's also why it's so weird.
Yeah, not sure. Maybe they have some kind of internal hooks to react on,
Mhm.
because Next.js, I mean, when you want to consume the source map from Next.js, is totally different than Vite, for example.
Yeah.
So I don't think React DevTools introduced like support for each framework. So that's why I think they have some React or internal hooks to
Mm.
consume this data. And I look at their code base. It's kind of very complex. It's
Yeah.
not easy to abstract that, but I was able to consume the component names. It's
Yeah.
but again, it's challenging. For example, when a component is unmounted, or when a component is updated, and then we need to deal all these kind of conditions, which
Mhm.
yeah, is not that easy to support in our side. I
Yeah.
think it's better if we can introduce our internal hooks
Yeah.
instead of just rely on uh, their messages.
Yeah. Exactly. So pass instantiation of observable primitives. So just as like an example, you will have like an event called store added or whatever,
Hmm.
uh, and then you would have like parent. It will kind of be parent container, I guess. You would have the store reference. You would have the parent store container reference. I guess you can just have the store. Well, okay, let's just put everything in there. So when a store is actually mounted, store mounted, you'll have the store, you'll have a reference to the store container, and you can also have a reference to the parent store container, which might be null. Um, and then you can have a reference to, so props, and each key is like a signal of something. I guess I'll write signal.
Hmm.
So you can get that. And this will be like, I'm thinking we just pass this raw to the debugger. So it's up to the debugger to figure out like creating references for all of this stuff. And then you could have a list of signals. You could have a list of, well, it should probably be like, I guess that's the question. Like what makes the most sense? Is it to group them by type of primitive? So you have a list of signals, you have a list of derived, you have a list of effects. Maybe that makes more sense. Like you don't really care about the order in the code. Well,
Yeah,
it's
not
an open,
really.
but
Maybe the signals matters, but I don't think effects, for example, matters,
yeah,
because signals might depend each other, right?
yeah, yeah. I guess it's like an open question. And but at the end of the day, maybe it should be like just call it observables or something, and then it can be signal derived, and then it's much easier. Like then we can choose. Should we just show them like by instantiation order, or do we group them because we know the type of yeah, I guess that's the thing. We would want to type would be signal, like, because you don't know that by just consuming the, and then you have like the instance, because a signal would be just a function, the derived would just be a function. So by looking at them, you don't know what it is, so the debugger needs to know what it actually is. And then the question is like, what like with an effect, what do you want to debug? Like, I guess you only want to know when the effect runs.
Yeah. When it's called.
Yeah. And yeah, because you wouldn't pass like the instance of an effect. That doesn't make any sense because you can't do anything about the instance. Like the instance of, like, when you call effect, it just returns, well, it doesn't return anything. Unlike a signal and a derived, they return a function that you can use to observe. And maybe maybe we shouldn't pass the instance. Maybe we should pass type, value, and then we pass a reference to it. So for example, let's say you have a store and you create a signal in that store. You'll get a list with a single item, type signal, the current value, and then you get a reference to the signal. So later you might get like signal updated, which is a different event, where again you have, or observable updated or whatever, type signal. Now you have the new value, but you also have the ref, so you know like where in the, like, which signal is this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, and then what I mean to say is that then it makes sense to have like, you can have like an effect, and there's no value to an effect, but you will still have a ref to that effect. We should really try to have a name for it as well. Oh, name. And here we don't need the name, but the point is, if it is an observable updated and it's of type effect, it just means that, oh, I ran once more. And then you can take that ref and then you can see, oh, which of the observables is this? It's this effect, and you can like bump a count or something. So it kind of, I ran again. Yeah. And then maybe this should be initial. Okay, let's just define. So you have signal, you have derived, and this will be like initial value. And then you have the ref, and then you have effect also has a name. It doesn't have an initial value.
Yeah.
And then you have, we can even say signal updated, and then value, and then ref. And then you would have derived updated. And this is interesting as well. Like derived has two kinds of updates. It can be flagged as dirty, and then it can be actually computed. So can create event for flag and compute it. Like, I'm not sure like I'm just going like deep technical what we can extract, and then it might not make sense from a developer experience, but
Yeah, but as I said, I think it's up to the debugger, like how to use this information.
yeah,
But at
exactly.
least we provide all the information, all the details we have available.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So basically, the ref is kind of it's the same as the ID, really. And then you have these events, and then you just match the ref, and then you know which one you
Okay.
need to update. Uh, yes. And then, yeah, exactly. So as an example, like when you receive like the initial observables, um, and you have like a signal, maybe the debugger creates like it creates the store, some kind of store entity, and then maybe its own list of observables where maybe the signal gets like a list of historic values or whatever, which is like every time you get an event for a new signal, you you put it into the historic values and set it as the current value or whatever. Like as you say, the debugger chooses how to use this information. Impact just notifies when stuff change.
Do you think the cleanup um, function might be useful here?
Oh,
Or it doesn't
for
really
sure.
matter?
Um, I guess you could like, especially with the unmount event, it could tell you like the number of cleanups it did or something.
Hmm.
Something like that. It's an interesting thing. Um, the thing I'm most like unsure of is the signals you don't create when you instantiate the store. Um, so you might have um, like like the good thing is that things are very flexible. Um, so you don't have like a hard coded object where you define like values and they under the hood they become signals. You just have this function scope, right? And you can just create signals wherever you want, and they can be created lazily. You can create like an maybe you create some initials. You have like a map where you reference some initial signals, and then as the app kind of lives, you start adding more to that object, like new signals. Um, and I'm not sure how to like represent that, because as an example, I can have like a proper example. Like if you have my store and then you have some props, and then what you do is that as an example, you signals and then props data map. So maybe you get some data from, sorry, props, it will be something like this. So maybe you get a list of strings, whatever. Let's call it list. Let's call this list. And you don't make a signal like this list isn't a signal. It's just an array where each item in the list is a signal. So it might be populated with 3 signals when you instantiate the store. And then you have something like return add item uh, text, whatever. And then you say like list push signal text. And then you like
Immersive.
add a new signal to it. But that happens like lazily. So in the debugger, you would actually see 3 signals being created as part of instantiating the store, which might be weird. I don't know. Um, and then the question is like how there's really no way to pick up
Hmm.
that this signal is part of this store, like through the runtime.
I see.
But,
Isn't it possible, like, to find the next um context provider? But
um, not through. Well, yeah. So what could be done is like during development, we could create a proxy around this object return, and then we know whenever you call something, like you execute something in the store. So we would know this proxy would tell us what is the active store that you're calling a method on.
mhm.
So if a signal was created, so what would happen here is like a component is calling add item. When add item is called, internally Impact will set my store as the active store, and then we see a signal is being called, and we have an active store. So then we know that that signal fits that store. But but if it was async and you would await something, now you lose that reference again. Um,
Oh boy.
but and this is really interesting because I remember working a lot with this in Overmind, trying to like capture what relates to what kind of, or what state changes relates to what actions and stuff like that. Um, but what I think is actually more, well, so the other way to do it is to actually, whenever you create a signal, we create a stack trace.
Yeah,
Um,
I was thinking about the same thing, like for waiver, and they
yeah,
use this stack trace,
yeah.
but it's more complicated.
It is more complicated and it's full of edge cases. Like, how do you?
And then again, we need to support every framework like Vite and the Next.js.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do wonder if it would be possible to have a generic way to like pick up the store name from stack trace, because like you like the um, top of the stack trace will be calling this signal, and this code is the same regardless of like what you're using. Uh, but yeah, I guess it's, yeah, the source map has like different underlying, like it transpiles differently,
Yeah,
it creates different code. But but I think you can, like, that's the point with source map, is like it doesn't matter what is transpiled to, it brings back the original code. So if it's possible to like look at like the actual source mapped code, which is kind of the original code, and then you can like but that it doesn't help that much because you have to figure out when exactly are you in this store scope. It is super tricky.
yeah. Well, right now we have a way to consume this source map, regardless if it's a Next.js or Vite,
Mhm.
but it's for a specific case. Oh, and actually, we are consuming the source map when you fire a signal,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Maybe it's already working, isn't?
Yeah, so you have the thing I'm not sure about is so as you say, like currently when you trigger the signal, we have the stack trace
Mm-hmm.
uh, of where the signal is defined. Yes. So we
Okay.
kind of have it already. Like when the signal is created, we have this stack trace of where it's created, so that when it fires, we can tell you where that signal was defined. Uh, yeah, so we have where it's defined, and then we use another stack trace. Where was it like changed from? Which is really cool. But the point is that stack trace is like it's just kind of the lines of code. It is the stack trace. It isn't like there's no mentioning of this line. This
Yeah.
line is what we're.
Yeah.
So that's what I wonder. Like, how much flexibility do you have in these stack trace tools? Can you say like could so for each item in the stack trace, can you like do a search of all the code in that file? Because each item in the stack trace represents a file, right?
Hmm.
Um, and could
Yeah,
we
but
then like identify which store it is? Maybe we could even use
yeah.
the name of the. That's interesting. We could use the name of the file. Like that could be a convention. Like name your stores my store. Just like components, there's a convention
Mhm.
to naming them. And then instead of looking at the stack trace and the code, we just look at the name of the file. And if it's a file in the stack trace that's named something store, then we know which store it is.
Yeah, I think it's possible, but we end up with this hard constraint. Like if someone misses this constraint, the
Mhm.
debugger will no longer working.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you should look at the stack trace if you can find any clue there, like any piece of information that you might use.
Yeah. And I think, like, at the end of the day, it will be to some degree a guessing game because even though, so if it's possible for each item in the stack trace to like actually look at the contents of the file, um, you would still have to figure out, is there a store definition in this file?
Hmm.
Um, a store definition is just a function, but we could look for the create store function, for example. So if it's a file with a create store function, what is the name of the function passed into the create store function? That will also give us like the name of the store.
I see.
But you could, like, you can technically create a store give using an arrow function. Like you can do this if you want to. So then we don't have the name of the store. But then we never have the name of the store. We don't
Yeah,
even have, yeah, it's
it's
anonymous.
an anonymous function. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is the thing. Like you have some um you have the freedom to add like some constraints to debugging because it's not the actual like end user experience. It's like it's for you as a developer. And
Hmm.
um but yeah, I guess those are two ways to do it. Either let's just read the file name on the stack trace. How quickly do we hit a store? Um, and then
Yeah.
yeah,
If I recall, right now, when a signal changes, we also don't know what are the stores it belongs. For
yeah,
example, if the group, we know the file, but we don't know the store.
yeah, exactly. I
So
can quickly.
we already have this problem.
Uh, yeah, yeah, we do. Where is the thing? I can't remember where. Stack frame data. Great. Oh my god. Can't believe I wrote this. Uh,
Yeah, there are two versions of this code now because one needs to support Next.js and then another one supports Vite.
oh,
And maybe there's a third framework they need support.
but you know, this is a thing. It would be nice to create some kind of abstraction, like to help um, dev tools to use source maps
Hmm.
in the dev tools. Do you remember which is the next? Like, is it called next or something? Oh, we know next. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we use the function name. No, the file name to recognize to find the store.
Does it reload? Do I have to build it?
Maybe
Oh,
now you yeah,
oh, okay. Ah, so this is actually grabbing the
yeah, the
store.
store.
Yeah.
Now if you try to add something and use the input field, maybe you find
Oh,
yeah, you go.
oh, interesting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So here you see um function name. Yeah. So this didn't pick up. Oh, yeah. This is where it's from, I think.
Mhm. I
Uh.
can't say the because we are in front of the
Oh,
debug.
yeah. Sorry.
You need to move us. Yeah, can't see now.
Uh. Wait. 3 items. There's only 1 item here. Why is it? That's weird. Did it change it after? Oh, come
But
on.
as you can see there, we only can find the we only can find the file, but we don't know where this
Yeah, it's counter.
we
Oh,
don't know where this store this signal belongs to.
yeah. But that's
Yeah,
maybe because what is this? Create stack frame data. But this is from creates. Oh, it okay. So this happens on all the different. Okay. Yeah. Create setter. But let's remove the filter just to see the full thing. Uh, where's the start of this? I guess there. Yeah, create setter debug entry. Oh, eval. Ooh. Add grocery. But it's not wrong, is it? Like, where do we do add grocery? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so this is interesting. It's not wrong. Oh, but it still points to counter, which is weird.
yeah. We are trying to find the grocery stores, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but that seems evil. Why does it say? Yeah, it's just a wrong file, but maybe it's the actual code where file call site substring. Hmm. What is the actual? Let's look at the actual. Uh,
Yeah, maybe you should see the original uh, stack trace.
because what does it do? It takes, yeah, it splits the stack and then it shows the call sites. Nice loading indicator, by the way. Oh, what did I do? What did I do?
Just try to reload. Maybe because we are using iframe and Next.js get mad.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, look at this. Yeah, I guess you can't quite see it. I'll try to scroll. Oh my god. So impact react, yeah, counter, counter, counter. Why does it show counter here? That is pretty much wrong. But where sources, I can look at that, can't I? Like sources. Oh, wait a minute. Of course, it's the same file. Like it's defined in the same file. Like this isn't a valid example. Like we put all the stores in the same file called counter. It's not a component counter. It's the file counter tsx, which is weird here, right? Because you would have a file called app store ts, grocery store ts. So yes, you would have normally. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah, but that's the kind of convention we need to add. Like, if people want to use debugger, they need to split in different files. But again, it's possible to put everything in the same file,
Mm-hmm.
in a single file,
Yes.
and then debugger is no longer reliable.
Yes. Because that's,
I'm
yeah.
I'm wondering if your idea using proxy might help.
Um, the problem is the async thing.
It
Because
creates another function, right?
yeah, because like for example here we have add grocery at line 26, right? So if we go to sources, counter line 26, like this is like we know App Store here. Like we know the line, and we know by the very like definition of like the way you construct these stores using a function, we it should be possible to say, okay, we have line 26 here, scan
Mm-hmm.
upwards, find then the wrapping function definition for this call site. And I think even this stack trace thing has that, if I remember correctly. Like, because here we
I
split.
see. So you want to consume it in the entire source map and then navigate
Yes.
inside this file, like
Yes.
using it like something like AST, I think,
Yeah,
to
kinda. I
find
think,
the.
yeah, it's not really AST. It's really just looking line by line and evaluating. But I believe that um, where is the actual? Yeah. So when you say new stack frame, I think you're actually able to get the wrapping function. So
Mhm.
they kind of do this already. Stack trace
Okay,
GPS. Um,
so if they do, we can do as well.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I never looked at the internals of stack trace GPS. Maybe we can even do this. Like we can create a stack frame related to firing a signal, and then maybe it would be possible to um, maybe it would be possible, but and regardless it should be possible to read this actual contents
Hmm.
and then find the function, and then but it's still complicated because you might create this signal in a nested function. So you might have like a function called create whatever that's being called by App Store. So you would still need some kind of convention to kind of understand, like the convention could be, okay, given this call site or this stack trace item, we can go and find the wrapping function, but then we would have to look at the name of that wrapping function. Is it defined again by convention, or do we first scan do we take the stack trace item, do we scan up to find the create store function, scan up and down to find the create store function? If we don't find it, we move to the next stack trace item, and as soon as we find the create store call, we can look at the create store and find which function it references, which is the function store. The function for the store. And then we use that. So we don't really need to, we just need to go through the stack trace, figure out if this file actually has a create store file, create store function. And when we find it, we look at the argument you pass it, and that is the store.
I see. Which would be the line 38, right? Like you're looking for this argument.
Yes, exactly. And then the only edge case is if you pass like an arrow function instead of an actual.
Oh yeah. But then it's anonymous. It's anonymous
Yes.
function.
Yes, exactly. So then you're pretty much fucked anyways. But that would give you, then you could have like import in import, but we would still just go down the stack. As soon as you find the store, it will be related to that store. So
well, if you say that's possible,
I don't know. Should
we can try.
Yeah. But it would be really cool to try to, like, from JavaScript code and a stack trace, can you get this code? Like, can you get this thing that we're looking at here? That's incredibly powerful to be able to do that. And then you have the correct line numbers, and then you can scan the file up and down, and just, you can even shove it into an AST generator thing, and you can navigate the actual code and everything. So yeah, but that's only part of the problem. Even if we solve that, it's like, how would we actually display this? Like, because it would suddenly just get new signals.
Yeah, and that they don't belong to a specific order, right? Like
yeah, and you might
they are just there.
Yeah, and you might even like delete a signal. Like maybe you have just an object where you keep a reference to signals, and maybe you'll remove some of them. Like you can use the garbage collector to figure out what signals are no longer referenced. But
Interesting challenges ahead.
yeah, it is very interesting. But what I would do is the most interesting information is like the stores and what they're initialized with and how they like operate. Um, like there's a lot of value in just having the signals you define initialize the store.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey Christian, I have to go
um,
to have
oh,
lunch,
yeah,
but please send me this to the list later, and
yes, I will.
or I don't know, we just paste it in the PR description, and they
Yeah,
can
I can
start
do that.
from there.
That's a good place to put it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why we have GitHub.
yeah, let's do that. And then we'll reflect on it, and then I'm sure we'll figure something out.
Cool, cool.
Nice.
All right,
Cool.
thank
Enjoy
you.
your lunch.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye. See you later.